cool.
We're never gonna let you live that down, unfortunately, Mish.
That's okay.
Unfortunately.
I'm good with it. I'm Jewish. I get it all the time.
Jesus Christ. Wait, what do you get? Wait, what do you get all the time?
Oh, just jukes. Jukes.
Jesus Christ.
I did it to myself.
Jesus Christ.
Anyways, let's move on.
Jukes.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
Thank you, Nacho Libre.
Wait, hold on. Wait, I'm sorry. I'm not even being ridiculous here. But if you're Jewish, what are you doing hanging around the churches for?
I'm. What's the word?
Are you telling us you're
ethnically Jewish.
Okay. Yeah. Not practicing. I see.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a friend who's always telling us he's Jewish.
Same. Yeah. Like, I'm like 1/8, but I don't know how that actually works because it was broken. The line of the lineage was broken by my grandfather because they go through the mother ever since the Holocaust.
Right.
Well, touchy subjects, I guess. But it's so I mean my mom was technically like a quarter Jew, and so I don't know how that works anymore, if it picks back up. I haven't learned, but like I didn't do any of the like traditionally Jewish upbringing stuff. Was raised in the church, so in the Christian church.
My uncle converted for about 6 months and was very serious about it, then got bored. So,
like Hasidic, like was he like converting to like a Hasidic tradition or?
Look, all I know is he was wearing the little round cap and not the big tall black hat. I don't know if that helps narrow it down at all.
I mean, it kind of does, but yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyways. Hello, people that are going to eventually be watching this. Welcome. Anyways, last time on D&D, who remembers? Who wants to give a recap?
I'll give it a go. Okay. So, we went to the fucking academy.
Mm-hmm.
3 men entered. 2 of them fucking failed their exams.
Mm-hmm.
The only man who passed the exam was in fact a woman. Go fucking figure. Brickster passed her fucking exam. Flying colors.
Yeah.
Shit about wanting to save the world and help the world and destroy evil and shit. Apparently. Even the rest of us didn't see that.
Well, you'll be able to see it now.
Yeah. Cat and Cobb did not make it. And Cobb shat on a parchment and engaged in some skullduggery behind the scenes. And that's kind of all that happened. And now that I think about it, maybe Mish is right. Maybe
one book. Way more than one book. You shat so many times, we put you in a diaper.
What was the skullduggery? I don't remember that so much.
Oh, you remember after the test when I was talking to the professor who turned out to be Jurian?
Oh yeah.
What? And unfortunately, I'll be sending you a message about that because you did a thing that has kind of invalidated my skullduggery, Mish.
Okay. Yeah, their NPC profiles are up on the wiki now.
Oh, cool.
I gotta fight. Which one? I gotta fight with Dolly some more to get Professor Valadin picture, but yeah.
Okay, so it's time to take a look at which ones are most attractive, and those are the only ones I won't kill.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I only have a couple of them, so so far. But in any case, yeah, kind of. Sorry. So you guys took a test. Some of you passed, some of you didn't. One of you passed, 2 of you didn't. Let me be more specific. And then you had some a nice heartfelt conversation with Secretary Danvis, and turned out she was Jirian as well, which was, surprise to Cobb. And and yeah, there wasn't a whole heck of a lot. You guys did end up going to Sybil's, or I should say Professor Thornwood's laboratory, so that Cobb could get his experimentation on. So, but yeah, most of it was the exam, and there was a practical part where you got to show off what you could do, written where you wrote theory basically, or tried to, and then an interview as far as you remember. But the interview was more than an interview. Ooh. Yeah. So, yeah, and we get to it. We get to the laboratory. Sybil, gosh, I'm going to keep calling her Sybil. Professor Thornwood's laboratory. And, again, it is just, it's got lines or shelves of jars with various things floating in them in various states of, I don't know, you at a glance, possibly utero. Maybe these things were fully developed and alive at one point. But yeah, definitely not alive now. A bubbling cauldron, she very much fits like this very classic witchy theme mixed with mad scientist. And her laboratory kind of fits that view. Wherever she's working is just kind of like a hot mess. It's like, the good baristas, how there's kind of like a stereotype where they're just messy and they leave messes wherever they go. It's kind of like that. And then there's like unseen servants that are coming around with it just looks like a broom, or like a duster, or it's very Mickey Mouse a little bit. Just coming around, straighten things up, cleaning things after she's gone. But yeah, she brings you, she basically kind of has brought you into this laboratory and is brings you over to a table. And this table is laid with a cloth, and it has several arcane equations or symbols on them and around it. And she looks to you. It's like, okay, so I'm very excited. Thank you. I don't want to just grab the Mr. Frog and do the things because you said that was bad. So I, with your permission, would you please lay him down on the table?
I love how you ask the other people for permission.
Yeah,
and not the one getting experiments.
Well, they weren't the ones that were like, hey, this is, or you weren't the one that said like, hey, this is wrong. You just threatened her when she tried to take you. And she's, in case you haven't gotten it, she doesn't get social cues very much. So,
but you are in a diaper. I just wanted to point that out again.
I kind of just look at Brixa and I go, only protagonists get diapers and experimentation. You're jealous.
I'm not jealous that you're in a diaper. That is
No,
absolutely.
you absolutely are. You wish you could get this much attention. I have had so many more voice lines compared to you this campaign. I am the most valuable player. If you think about it, you are jealous. And I kind of just wiggle at her and do a stupid little dance.
Yep, that's me wishing I was in a diaper.
Listen, I don't judge you for what you're into, okay? This is a safe space.
Sure.
It's really hard to judge people when you're wearing a diaper.
Listen, now that you mention it, I do know a story about that, and as I'm busy going into this fucking story, I assume you kind of cover my mouth and put me on the table.
I think you're on Airless shoulder, because
Who's
I called you a
who's
full-time
fucking
job.
yeah? Who's okay? Eric, I assume at that point that's probably your best segue to kind of squeeze me really hard and put me on the table.
I'm pretty sure that last session I got tired of you and handed you off to Kat, actually. So.
Yep.
Oh,
Oh
actually,
Jesus!
Yeah,
Christ.
so I'm just like, boop,
It's just
boop.
getting past. He's just getting passed around. It's
Hot
I'm just
hot frog.
I'm just
Yeah.
floating in the air. I'm like Schrodinger's frog.
well, you're definitely on the table now in a diaper about to get
Yep.
experimented on. So here we go.
Are there little
Yeah.
straps? that put on the little
Fuck
straps
you,
on his
fuck you,
hands and
people.
legs?
Listen, I've now seen the general chat. Okay, you could have at least made it frog themed, but no.
Well, it is frog themed. Like the frog wizard has a diaper.
Yeah, but the last image is just. Where's that last image even from?
That's your human form, obviously.
I looked
Oh,
up the word
God.
diaper in GIFs, and that was the first one that popped up.
Never again look up that word. Never. You're banned from using GIFs.
No, please continue. Okay. So, yeah. Kat, do you put Cobb down? I guess.
Yeah,
And Cobb, do you consent? I guess.
I vaguely consent.
You vaguely.
It's
that's all she
fine.
needs. So, as you do, she's like, okay, well, first we need to figure out what happened. And so, I don't know how much you can do this as a frog, but what was like this? Explain the spell to me. Explain what happened in detail, if you do not mind.
Okay.
And she like
so
starts
first-
writing in a book that just kind of like seems to like float up underneath her as she takes up what looks to be like a kind of like a charcoal, a piece of charcoal, and but
Okay.
it's got a really fine point. So
Okay, so I just want to double check back in the Enchanters Guild. It's standard to, when you're writing experiment reports, to go to lab conditions first, ingredients second, experimentation process third. Same kind of setup here.
they have some kind of experimentation set up. Again, you're explaining.
I'm saying that in character to her.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So she's just writing stuff down as you talk.
So I'm kind of saying, kind of just describing the lab, big circular room I was working at the time. I'll go into detail of stonework, temperature, very kind of, I've pretty much memorized this because of how many times I've given this report. And I kind of go into detail of, I had this big basilisk head on a table. I was trying to engage in transmutation magic to try and derive medicinal properties from some of its venom and some of its blood and la-di-da-di-da.
Okay, yeah. So you give her as complete a report as you possibly can, and she's like, She like touches the charcoal to her lips as she's thinking, and like just makes a smudge on her face, just like yeah, very Mulan-esque,
Yeah.
and she just kind of like all of a sudden just drops the charcoal and something catches it, and she just yeah she very matchmaker. She moves over to just a cupboard, and she flings it open, and the cupboard is like much deeper than it looks like it should be, and she just like starts reaching into it and like gets like half of her body in and just like pulls out something that doesn't look like it should have fit in the shelves, and it's this basilisk skull, and she sets it on the table next to you, just kind of thumps it down, and and starts moving over to like, all right, and you said you had like vials and stuff. What was in the vials? Because like you were trying to do some kind of
Yeah, well, I was trying to create a healing potion that could be mass produced. I, diluted the blood into separate vials. Kind of, I was in the process of trying to decant some of the venom, trying to separate that from the water, and water content in the venom. I did have 2 other vials for cranial fluid, another vial for eyeball fluid. I haven't touched anything in the mouth except for the venom at that point, but I was planning to try and get a saliva sample. I was at that point just trying to get essentially everything.
Okay, so you were trying to like magically distill like some kind of like aqua vitae kind of thing, like she's like trying to wrap her head around how this might have worked.
Well, yeah, no, Mish aqua vitae. Meaning?
So, like water of life is basically the translation.
Okay. Well, I'm kind of gonna explain to you. What my thinking was that Mish, how does basilisk poison work in this universe? Does it have a poison?
Basilisks are more like lizardy type creatures, and
Okay.
it's more their stare that turns things into stone. But
Oh shit!
there are parts of them that have been useful for, reversing petrification. And
shit, I think I might have this entire time been thinking of a hydra.
okay,
Because my thinking was, I think I might have been misspeaking this entire time.
that's okay. The basilisk still works. Like, we can say like, there's, I don't know, a basilisk cousin in Akraj that's like venomous. So that works out just fine.
Okay, so I kind of explained to her, there was this specific subgroups. There's this specific Jurian subspecies of basilisk that's venomous. My thinking was,
Oh, she like knocks the skull off of the table, and it kind of thuds, but something else like cushions it that you don't see.
Yeah. So if memory, this subspecies is actually very weird. Is that instead of petrifying people, it has a venomous bite that causes extreme cell growth. My thinking was that not
cancer.
Extreme cell growth, it'll essentially cause super cancer. My thinking was at the time that if you could apply that
Gross.
to a wound at a localized level, it's not going to be pretty, but you could kind of seal the wound up quickly.
Why would you not just make a healing potion?
Well, what if there's not a wizard nearby? My thinking was that if you could get this process right, you could very easily just farm basilisks, periodically take their venom, and just have incredibly cheap healing potions.
Well, you don't need a wizard for basic healing potions necessarily. It helps. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
but
but they're still expensive. My thinking was if you could get this right, this could be something that the poorest of the poor could afford.
She like starts tapping her nose with the piece of charcoal, giving herself this little black mark, and she's like, yes, Angir is in a desert. I get it. There's not a lot of vegetation. You wouldn't have a lot of healing stuff. And she like starts rubbing it across her lips and like starts tasting the charcoal. It's like, puts it down.
I did that. I did that to myself once. I don't even judge you for that.
Did what? She's like totally moved on and oblivious. Like,
never mind. Jesus loves you. It's okay.
Who's that? Should I be worried? I didn't know somebody loved me.
Whatever the local equivalent. Mishra, I keep forgetting the name of the Durian god.
Yeah, Mirats. Yeah.
Mirats, okay. I'm just kind of like, don't worry, Mirats loves you. You are blessed.
Oh. I don't really think he exists, but if he does,
Yeah. No,
Okay.
listen. I don't think he exists either. But I'm worried I'm gonna get fucking stomped if in the afterlife if I'm wrong. So I'm just hedging my bets at this point.
Okay. Well, does Maratz have something to do with the spell that you were doing?
No. There wasn't any clerical magic. It was purely arcanist stuff.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna see about procuring a basilisk skull from wherever you come from, Unkshire, right?
Right.
And so we'll table this one, and she like pats the table, for now. At the moment, then, and she like starts like waving her hands around, and you see like glowing symbols appear in the air, and she just starts casting a spell, and she takes her hands and puts them on your little frog face, and and you might recognize this as like an identify spell, and she's going to just identify you. It's like, okay. She takes her hands away and starts thinking. She starts pacing around, starts looking at some of the stuff on her shelves and pulling looks like a journal, and like flipping through it. Well, you're a frog, she says over her shoulder.
That was my theory as well.
Yes,
I was also
yes.
thinking the same thing.
Yeah. And this shouldn't happen. She closes it, sticks it back on the shelf, and starts looking for something else. This shouldn't happen with magic. Most times when you're changed into something, the self doesn't change. It shouldn't change. But you've completely changed into a frog, but you've retained memory, and you've retained part of yourself.
And also opposable thumbs, don't forget about those. And also, somehow I'm able to store my inventory space in my stomach. Somehow.
Yeah, we'll just retcon your spell book somewhere in there. So
Yeah.
we'll say that while you were in Vala, you got a very small spell book.
What did I just keep inside my stomach? Okay.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. And also that kind of says, so also don't forget that I'm able to speak and I have vocal cords.
Right. No, you've retained part of yourself. So that's the mystery. Like, how do we reverse that? Like, I can. She brings out something else, and looks like a very gilded book, and she flips through to something, lays it down on kind of like a podium, and she shifts it over to the table. It's like, please stand in the center of this table. I want to try something.
I go stand there. Yeah.
And she starts to incant, and this thing looks like very, very powerful magic. Like, the whole room starts to light up with just the amount of magical energy that's going into this, and the cloth that you're standing on starts to glow. The arcane symbols start to glow, and she releases this spell finally. Seems like it takes forever, but it's just a few seconds. And you turn into a human being.
Sorry, what?
You turn into a human being. You look like a generic human being. She doesn't know what you look like before. But you turn into like this generic, very average looking human being. You're naked. And you're just kind of like on all fours on top of this table all of a sudden. And she's like,
I start break.
How does this? How do you feel?
I start break dancing. I gotta go. This feels good. I
make a
I'm
performance
not me.
check. Yeah.
a second. uh, sorry, that was perception. Give me a second.
Okay.
9.
All right. You try to break dance, you tip the table over, and you fall. And it feels weird. It feels like your skin color is wrong. Your like your hands don't look like your hands. Like all kinds of like you just don't look like yourself. And you can find a mirror pretty easily, or at least a reflective surface. It's not your face. And
okay, so I kind of say to her, don't get me wrong, this is progress, but I was way more attractive than this, and also, this is awkward for me because I'm very much the wrong color, and I'm very short compared to how I used to be. This is, I miss my abs, Professor Thornwood. This is.
Oh well, I mean, I can only do that once a day, so
Oh no.
Yeah. Anyways, so we're gonna like observe you for an hour. She doesn't even like you're just nude, and so like she doesn't even like look at that as an issue. She doesn't even know to address it. But like, there's some floating robe comes over to you and is held out for you to take.
I kind of grab it and thank the unseen servants.
Yeah.
And I kind of. Should I be able to taste purple? I taste purple.
Oh, do you? She like picks up her book and starts writing down a note. It's like, interesting. Well, synesthesia. New side effect.
It tastes purple.
Yeah. If you well, we'll put you in an observation room. We'll monitor you for about an hour. That's when this magic should stabilize, hopefully. And then I'm gonna try. Should I? I'm gonna try dispelling it, and then see if it takes. If anything, if anything changed.
Try dispelling the polymorph or the frog.
The polymorph.
What are you thinking that maybe if you can get the one effect to cancel, you might be able to get the underlying effect to cancel?
Something. I don't know. We're trying things here. I don't know how to. So my whole theory is upended by your situation. Like the self should be immutable. The fact that your self has changed at all is troubling. Exciting, but troubling. So,
practical question: could this be
she
solved?
Like starts like picking at a table of utensils and pulls something and just jabs you with a needle.
Yeah, thanks very much. Also, that done.
Did that hurt?
Yeah, it did. It did. It
okay.
hurts quite a
well,
lot. Something occurred to me a while ago. Say we were to find a freshly deceased human corpse and transplant, preferably a volunteer. And I kind of just see the look Eris giving me, and I kind of go, preferably a volunteer. And transplant my brain, my tiny little fully functioning frog brain, inside the human. It doesn't exactly reverse the effects, but in terms of, making it a little bit more easy for me to live, that could work. And also,
is your brain a phylactery?
No, it's a frog brain. It's a tiny little frog brain.
Oh, well, I think that would kill you. Then.
But could we try? The other thing is having a human body has certain other benefits for me that I won't mention right now. Specific. Well, actually,
no, I don't see how it wouldn't kill you. We could. I mean, it as a last resort, and maybe we could try that. But I would like to, as my colleagues would have me say, help you as best I can. So we're going to try and keep you alive as long as possible.
Uh, fucking Caroline ruining shit in the general comment section. I understand where she was going with that, and I don't approve.
uh,
I don't know if you just want to. I don't know if you want to scene transition to somebody doing something else, and then we just turn back to the inevitable failure that these experiments have been.
okay. I mean, like, this is like, yeah. Basically, what happens is you and Professor Thornwood kind of go back and forth, trying to. She's trying to poke and prod and do all kinds of other stimulus, just trying to see if, you're more or less human, if everything's working appropriately, etc. So she's taking it very clinically, very just, this is a conundrum to her, and she wants to unravel the mystery. And you guys are free to stay for the hour. What is the rest of the party wanting to do?
Cat's kind of just hanging out, looking at stuff, trying to read, just trying to figure stuff out.
Yeah, nothing looks. You can't read any of the stuff on the shelves, and
Dang.
no. Okay. Did you guys? She's not. She's basically ignoring you all. So, like, if you wanted to dip out, that's totally fine. Or if you didn't want to leave Cobb, that's also fine.
You just kind of see me look at all of you and go, "I'm special, but I've got 3 needles sticking out of my head. I'm getting all the attention."
She was identified as one of the people who could maybe figure out what I am.
Oh, okay.
So while he's in the mid of treatment, would ask her, hey, I'm trying to discover what I am. Apparently, I'm not normal, and
we could have all
manifested recently. So can you help me figure out what that is?
We could have told you that without the medical exam, Rickster.
Well,
I kind of.
Dude, you've been telling me that like the whole time we were here.
Yeah. We
whole
have been. We have been.
She looks you over and says, "Well, I mean, are any of us normal? I don't know what you'll have to be more specific."
So I'll tell her how I manifested magic and how I'm sorry, I don't remember the professor's name that we just left. He said that I could be like an
Danvis?
other being.
Yeah. At least Danvis.
Yeah.
Well, possibly. Yes. She goes back to that very gilded book and starts flipping through some stuff. Let's see. And she's okay. So this one's not particularly her brand, but she starts like bringing together a whole bunch of like incense and starts lighting it, and she starts reading from this tome, and like, oh wait, do you consent?
Before you do that, I should probably, and I'm gonna remove that hair chopstick because I got stuff on my face. That might help her.
Oh, like, oh, I was wondering what that was. Interesting.
Yeah, do you have a picture you could link to, in general, of like what I actually look like for the party? Because I'll see it now.
I believe so. Let's see.
I have the fixed version.
Oh, it's right there. Uh-huh.
Thank you.
Oh, jeez.
So I have tons of like tiny bejeweled looking scales on both cheeks and then 3 big ones on my forehead, and they look like scales. Topaz bejeweled scales on my face. I don't look human.
Cat sees it and he is like, his eyes get wide because it's shiny.
And my eyes glow. My eyes do glow like molten lava-y. Kind of swirl and they move. They do not look normal or human or elvish. Because she's elvish.
Caroline.
Do we know that dragons exist? Is that part of our history? Or are we just like, what the hell is happening here?
So, you may have come across a pseudo dragon or two. You may have heard of Dragonborn, but in this, like, the social narrative, Dragonborn are like the defunct children of Rakara, which is, think Tiamat. And they definitely look a lot more lizard-like as well. But overall, and kobolds are a thing too. But overall, dragons are considered myth. Like, if anything that big and that powerful existed, especially with like all the magic that's now just abounding across the world, the prevailing thought is we would have run into something like that, or something would have come after us. So they're considered myth.
Aerith sees your scales and goes, "Oh, do you have dragonborn ancestry? Oh, dragonborn ancestor somewhere in there?"
Oh, like those lizard men that we saw outside? No. Actually, you know what? I'm an orphan. I don't know. I forgot I'm an orphan that was raised in the mountains. I don't know anything about my family is her actual response. I'm sorry.
Were there
That's
lizard
what a
men somewhere?
dragonborn is, right? Like those lizard looking men outside.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen any.
Oh, we have. I thought we saw some in the soldiers' barracks when we came in. I thought.
Oh no, I don't
there
think
was
so.
a dragonborn there. Okay, my bad. Just kidding. I don't know what that is. Retcon. What's that? What the hell is that?
Well,
I don't get it.
Dragonborn are considered the, depending on who you ask, either the offspring of mortals and Vakara, or mortals that have been twisted by Vakara, or a generic demon spawn. It depends. I don't know. The demons did a lot of funky stuff when they were here. But I don't know. You look way more human than I expect one of them to look. So.
Well, I'm an elf. I think I'm an elf. I'm pretty sure I'm an elf. I got pointy ears like an elf.
Okay. Yes, I see
but I
those.
consent to your test. But
Okay.
I thought you should see these scales first.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you for that. And she is going.
They appeared last week. When I manifested magic.
So you didn't have them before.
Just one.
Okay.
One on my arm.
Mm-hmm.
That when like I was a kid, and then the rest came last week.
She's gonna like snuff out the incense and or try to. Yeah, I guess she's gonna rub off the burn spots. And um, she kind of says, she comes up to you and says, "May I?" And she holds her hand out and looks like she wants to take your arm. And she starts kind of like looking at the scales and seeing if they act like normal scales or if it's just like a scaly patch of skin. Like, you know, are they attached at one end, essentially? She examines that. She examines your forehead, gets very close. Like, there's like no personal boundary for her. Starts, she kind of like taps the jewel looking one and
Ow.
Oh, I am sorry. And she kind of backs off a little bit, thinks and ponders, and well, let me try this anyways. And she goes ahead and casts another spell. Doesn't look anywhere near as monumental as what she cast on Cobb, but there's still a definite amount of magic going into this particular spell. And she funny. And she releases the spell, and there's kind of like this just kind of like this field of stars, almost like a cloud that hangs in the air a little bit as the magic releases. And she almost kind of like a little like like, you know, if you've seen Star Wars and the hologram of like the cosmos, kind of like that. And she just sits there for a moment, looking through whatever it is that is being revealed to her. It's not being revealed to you. And then after,
I kind of lean over to Brixton. Sorry to interrupt you. I kind of lean
go
over
ahead.
to Brixton. I kind of whisper to her, "Does any of this make any sense to you? Do your weird eyes pick anything up here?"
I don't know what's going on.
Just remind me how this is fair. I get naked and you get a light show. That's not reasonable.
I didn't turn myself into a frog.
Yeah, you were just born weird, apparently.
Yeah, that's a point.
I love the implication that Kat has snuck up on both of us and is now just whispering to us both.
Been there the whole time.
Like I don't realize I'm sitting on his lap or some bullshit.
So after about
Just
10
cradling
minutes,
your new human form like a baby.
yeah. So after about 10 minutes go by, she looks up and says, "You said you're an orphan?"
Yes, my earliest memories, I was in the mountains to the east by myself, and I've kind of just lived alone. I don't know. I don't know who my family is.
Well, usually this spell doesn't really work on people who, usually it doesn't work on most people. To be fair, but usually what I do end up seeing is some kind of glorious forefather or some kind of legend of our history, but whatever this is was shrouded, and I did see things, like there was like kind of like I was seeing through somebody else's eyes. There seemed to be a lot of flying involved. I got the sensation that whatever it was very hot. And maybe a little hungry. But There was definitely this sense of like, how would you like characterize that? That like sense to uh, right things, like a righteousness, I suppose, or a sense of justice. Um,
Yay!
That sounds like me.
and then, I saw a little girl in a cave, in this forest, and it's kind of where it left me. So I'm going to assume that's you, but because it looked like maybe you but younger. That's I don't know. Usually when this spell is cast, if anything does show up, it is kind of monumentous. It's something that time takes notice of, and um, I don't know what that means because
You don't know what monumentous means, or you don't know what
no,
the spell
I don't know what the vision or whatever the spell showed me means, but
What spell was that?
it's called legend lore. So um,
Oh, and it usually does not work.
it usually doesn't.
People. Not on people. It usually works on items. I'm sorry, my character would know that. That's me knowing that. Bloop, bloop, bloop. I don't know any of that. Take it back. Take
But
it back.
that actually begs the question: if it normally doesn't work, why did it work on Brixton?
Well, that's
Is
the
she-
conundrum. It was, sometimes it can show me like if somebody had like an important figure in their history or something like that, and it seemed the most uninvasive thing to do. I'd like to take some of your blood in a scale, or if you don't mind, but
You can take some of my blood but on a scale.
oh, she looks like kind of visibly dejected.
So it showed Brixter when she was young, and before that, a general sense of an entity that wants to do good. Maybe is that kind of all it showed?
Well, I mean, sometimes you get more, sometimes not. It depends.
The-
Like
the
I
young-
said, whoever I was looking through,
Yeah.
I couldn't see them. I couldn't see
Did
whoever
the young-
that was.
Did the
It
young girl
was.
have scales?
Sorry,
Did the young girl have scales on her face?
I didn't get close enough for that.
I kind of turn to look at Brixter and I go, Brixter, just remind me. You said you've had your powers for a couple of weeks, right?
1 week.
1 week.
My scales are, I only had one scale. So on her forearms, it's kind of like it looks like a bracelet or something, but they're scales, kind of like the ones on her cheekbones. And they just kind of wrap around each forearm once. And she'll point to like one particular scale and say, I had that when I was a kid, but all of the rest. So she has some on her right leg, her face, and then on both of her forearms, and that's it. All of those appeared last week when I manifested magic.
But some of the scales were already there.
I only had one scale
Where was that one?
on my arm.
How old are you? How old are you, Brixter?
I don't know.
Could
Oh,
you
I
get?
do know. I'm sorry. I do know. 22.
Wait, in elf years or in like half elf?
In you're right. I am a half elf. In half elf years, I'm 22. Thank you.
Okay.
Did you have a birthday recently?
I don't know when my birthday is exactly, just that I'm around 22, which,
Fuck me.
and I manifested last week. So maybe that was my birthday.
Okay, and I'm not pressuring you, and I kind of give Thornwood a bit of a serious glance. Are you genuinely not comfortable giving Thornwood a scale? Because it genuinely is okay if you aren't, and I kind of pat her on the back with my very meaty human arm and go, "It's okay. We respect one another's consent here, bro."
I didn't really hear that. Was that a question, or are you accepting me?
I was saying, are you I was just saying it's genuinely okay if you don't feel comfortable giving her a scale, and I'm kind of just patting you on the shoulder.
Yeah, no, the scales are mine. Oh, sorry. No, you can have my blood though.
Okay.
Sorry, that came out aggressive. I'm so sorry.
Typically,
You
it's
just
the other way around. The people, how people. Thank you. She says, and
I,
so I
was very shocked that she just got so aggressive about it. Oh, I'm so sorry.
I don't know if you just kind of see Cobb giving you this very serious expression, like he's actually starting to become genuinely interested in this whole story of what exactly you are and where you came from. You kind of just see him pull out his same little tiny froggy notebook, but he's obviously now struggling to make notes because of human hands again.
So if you could see through the eyes of that entity, does that mean that entity is alive right now? Was that in current time, or were you looking through their eyes through the past from when I was like a child?
I don't know.
That's fair.
Okay, this is a lot less invasive as she because her head is already somewhere else, but she sticks a needle into you and starts drawing blood. So kind of, just yeah, the actions aren't matching what she's talking about. So,
I'm picturing she just has this giant needle that just goes directly into the stomach.
no.
Oh
Just
God, no. Aerith is like, whoa, hang on, and like ties like a little band around Brix's arm and
Jesus.
to make sure she doesn't fucking bleed out.
Oh, okay.
You're
And she
I'm a
starts
healer. Please trust me on this.
and she starts drawing blood. And
I'll relax, Aerith. It was only 2 liters. She can afford to use that.
What's the more
Lose,
invasive
like
this?
a cup.
so she starts speaking. Is like just cast and identify, and she takes the syringe out and takes a little swab and swabs the wound area. It's like it starts, something else comes around and starts tying a sterile bandage around you. She takes this and sets it down on a tray, amongst some other things. And yeah, let me just try and identify.
Okay.
See what might happen. Especially now that you don't have the skies on. Maybe this will show something else. And she takes some time, and she seems to know this one a lot better and doesn't need to reference the book so much. But it takes about 11 minutes to cast, and she at the end of it, she's like, okay, it told me something, but the thing is something I don't recognize. Your magic is not something I know of.
Oh.
And that's not normal?
That is very not normal. It seems arcane, the source of your magic.
Yay.
So what did it tell you exactly?
Which dimension is she from? What is she planning? Is she an advanced agent for the invasion?
No.
No. You seem mortal. The spell didn't tell me anything other than that. Your magic feels arcane. The source is what I'm not familiar with. And
What's the source,
so
though?
Does it
I
feel otherworldly?
it feels different than anything I've come across. So okay, let me put it in this way, maybe. So when I typically feel or identify students with your particular arcanic disposition, the spark is more intrinsic to you than it is for some others per se. Like for
Like
me,
Cobb?
yes, yeah, actually. So when I typically identify students kind of like you, it's a hereditary. The spark is hereditary. The power comes from something in their line of people, and so when I'm going to assume that whatever that source was in your hereditary line, then as kind of a working theory, but there was no frame of reference for what that thing was for me. So it's hard to
Oh.
even describe what it was.
So I descend from something that's large, that could fly, that is hot, and is hungry.
Wait, where do you get that from?
Yeah.
That's what she described.
Yeah.
when she
Oh,
was
sorry,
the-
sorry, I must have.
I mean, it
not heard.
almost sounds like a dragon, but those aren't real.
What's a dragon?
Yeah, but they were real at one
Oh,
point.
I don't have anything in here, but the library might have a fairy tale book or something.
My teachings mention one.
Yeah, I mean,
What teaching?
Cat. What?
Yeah, and I
Okay,
just pulled
yeah.
out the book of the monastery's teachings.
How long have you had a book of the monastery's
I told you.
fucking teachings?
This
You're
whole
all
time.
fucking
This whole
knowledge
time.
out of nowhere.
You,
This
Yeah.
you
just
motherfucker!
Cat Lord
Kill him!
just dropped.
Kill him! Kill him! Kill him! Kill him! I asked him about shit so many times, and he's had a book
Book
this
out
whole
a few
time.
times
No,
now.
no,
Given it
He's
to-
had the
no!
book the whole time. We just can't
Kill
read it.
him! Kill
Cat,
him! Kill.
What's a dragon?
But you said you couldn't read it either. So how do you know there's a dragon in it if you can't read it?
He
You
can
can't
read
just-
it. He can
I
read
can't
it.
read my
read it.
book.
It's in his language.
Motherfucker! No!
Just because you have a bad memory doesn't mean that cat deserves to die.
But
Yeah,
The
and
story
it's
keeps- the story keeps-
about this time that she turns around. It's like, oh, it's about time, and she casts dispel magic, and you turn back into a frog. It's like,
I
Huh.
returned to my amphibian form, but I do
That
not
was
forget
disappointing.
my vendettas. Ah!
yeah. And she's like, oh, that was disappointing. Well, she writes down her notes.
Cat,
And
what's a dragon? What does your book say?
It's
It was
it's
a
book
mighty
from-
beast that had different elements.
yeah, I mean, they're at least in the stories that we've cobbled together, and they feel like children's tales. Like
Well, the
princesses
monastery
getting
didn't
whisked
feel they were like
away, and sorry.
Wait,
They're saying that's where we derived our power.
Who's we?
Where did you? Who is we? Yeah.
Who's we? Just
That's at the
just
monastery.
answer. Which monastery? Fuck you! Because half of the time you can read the book, half of the time you can't read the book, half of the time there is a book, half of the time there's no book. I demand a straight answer. Where the fuck are you from? Yeah, you
He
Chicken
said the
scratch
monastery.
Which
Yeah,
monastery?
Professor Thornwood says.
Is it a dragon monastery? Is it a dragon monastery? Are dragons your thing?
Have you
I
ever
mean,
seen
there's
one?
Where it looked like dragons.
well, do we know what dragons look like?
Yeah, we've got some
It
ancient
looks like those
depictions.
statues.
It looks like a what?
A fat
It looks like those
Cat dude?
statues.
Oh. Huh. Well,
Furry and whiskered.
interesting. Okay, well, I mean, still probably myth. Then I don't. We probably have fairy tale books in the library somewhere. There. So.
Can I ask
Professor
a
Thorn.
question?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Where do these myths come from before the clouding?
Some of them. Yeah, but they're like snippets of moralistic poems and child do good stories and stuff like that. I haven't really taken much interest in them, so I don't know much about them. But
And there's no way they could be real.
I don't think. I feel like we would have seen a dragon by now if they were real.
Yeah, but what if they existed at one point, but they're all dead? I mean, I used to fuck around with basilisk blood. Why are dragons so hard to believe?
Well, why is it so hard to not believe in them?
That's not an answer.
Well,
That's a
I mean,
non-answer.
they haven't shown themselves. If they're as greedy as the stories say they are, and like, why haven't they
What
come
if they all
from
just?
any of our
What if-
possessions or
Okay, but how do
gold?
we know they? But what if they all existed at one point, then they all died off? Maybe Brickster came from an ancient egg that just hatched. We don't know.
Do you
and then
feel like a
apparently-
dragon? She like turns to
And
you,
then
like
apparently,
as if you know what a
Don't have
dragon
wings.
is. She like looks
Don't
at
have-
you. Like,
I can't fly. If dragons can fly, I can't fly.
Well,
Well,
you
she-
don't know
she
because
casts-
your powers just manifested a week ago. What if you have
Yeah, you
wings?
she casts
Yeah, you
another
could just be able-
spell on you and casts fly. It's like
Yeah. Oh, dude, this probably
Dude.
feels as natural as breathing to me. I start flying around the room. Yeah.
you start like trying to move up and you kind of like bump into the ceiling a little bit and like it's
so
a little
many
awkward
things
at
are
first.
happening at
It's
once.
like, all right, do you feel how does it feel to be a dragon? Professor
Brixton,
Thornwood
you're
said.
defying gravity. It's amazing.
You know what? I probably do love it. Deep down inside, it probably feels quite right. So I'm probably really loving this.
Am I the only one who's finding it a tiny bit suspicious? And I actually developed a slightly more serious tone. That the second cat wanders into civilization with apparently a big book of fucking dragon spells and dragon lore, whatever the fuck his fucking temple taught or whatever. You said he's got a. You said they taught about dragons and there's a dragon statue at your temple, right? Am I the only one that finds it weird that you are the guy who just coincidentally runs into Brickster? I mean, you've got. That's not a coincidence. That's weird. That's.
I didn't run into her. She fell in a window.
I'll
Is
kill
your
your entire.
monastery like a protector of dragons?
Well, yeah, they've clearly got something to do with dragons. Just what do you do with dragons? Do you eat them? Do you worship them? What do you do with the dragons?
Do you marry them?
They taught us how to do this, and I just start doing a couple moves, shooting fire and smoke and water and earth.
Oh wait,
I
this
just
is a
wanted to-
laboratory. This no stop. She like tries to like put her hands out. It's like no, stop, no.
Sounds like you're disciples of dragons. Then, have you ever seen them? Has your order ever? Your order like can confirm dragons exist?
I think we just have the statues.
You just
Yeah.
kind of see Cobb.
Yeah.
We need to go to the library.
I agree. Although I have to say, I don't have wings.
That
Are
that
you
is
sure?
like quintessential dragon. I feel. So
She could be.
hmm.
Wait.
Well,
Eh.
if what you described isn't a dragon, what else could it be?
Oh, maybe a wizard. Wizards can fly. Like I just showed you.
Do they feel massive and hungry and a sense of justice?
I get hungry every once in a while. Some of
Do
our
you-
wizards feel
wait.
like justice.
Wait. Do you feel massive and hungry
Righteous.
in a sense of justice? Do you feel like you've gained weight? ever
Well, I
since
mean,
the week ago
it
when
wasn't
you unlocked
necessarily
your
like
powers?
a sense of massive. Like I felt like the size I should have been.
Not you, Thornwood. I was asking the lizard girl. Do you
Oh,
feel massive
alright.
and also a sense of justice?
She
I'm
gets,
heavy.
she like
I mean, I do want to
Kicks a
destroy
little, like,
all of humankind
dust bunny
and
in
restore
her.
power to the land.
Like,
I do.
Okay, yeah, but come on,
I
I'm
pat Thornwood on the shoulder. I'm
Okay,
sorry
but-
about him.
right. But the thing is, I'm a human, and I want to destroy all of humankind and rule over the ashes. That's not necessarily unique. I don't know if that necessarily tells us anything. You know,
I want to destroy demon kind, not humankind.
Oh. I just kind of see Cobb awkwardly, and I'm kind of go, oh, sorry, I kind of misheard you there. Disregard me.
Yeah, demon kind, and then I want to restore power to the land.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. Sounds good.
you might be a good candidate for reconditioning, I feel.
Is that like gay conversion camp? What is that?
No, I mean, there's some. Not
Is it
everybody,
like
likes,
the form?
not everybody likes it, but you know,
Intensive therapy.
Probably why I didn't get accepted
Yeah.
in college.
yeah.
Wait. If I go through reconditioning, do I get to study here for free?
No,
Oh fuck!
Oh.
I mean,
How much
unless
does
you pass the
reconditioning
exam, then
Yeah, now
Thank
I have
you.
to wait another year before I can try again. No thanks to
yeah.
Aerith.
Why is that?
What did I
wrong?
do? I wasn't even in there.
I mean, it was your test, so I don't know how she comes into this, but
What?
She skewed the results with her negative vibes.
oh,
I don't.
Yeah.
she writes
Anyway,
down something in her
that-
journal.
Yeah.
Well,
Listen,
thank you for your test,
Yeah,
Professor. I appreciate it.
Mr. Frog Cop, we can continue. We're just trying to figure some things out.
Yeah. We also.
If you'd like, I could also draw some blood from you, and we could see if that brings anything else up. But the true polymorph was, man, I was hoping that would do something.
All right, so I
But-
don't know if you guys want to kind of head off without me while the professor experiments on me horribly, and I'll kind of.
Well, no,
meet
you
about-
can come back another time. I've got a class to go teach soon, so I'll just take some blood. And she like picks up another another syringe,
I
and
tie
then
a tiny little wrap around
Yeah.
Cobb's
So-
arm.
Yeah.
something
I've
else
got-
like brings another syringe and slips the other syringe out of her hand and puts a new one in there. It's like, oh, I guess.
Oh God!
Well,
Alright,
I do have.
we should
I-
meet up at some point and talk about medical safety together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, don't
Professor
worry about
Thornwood,
it.
I do.
The unseen servants do help me out a lot, and she like,
Okay.
yeah, she takes some blood.
I do have one question, Professor Thornwood, completely unrelated. The Arcanum doesn't maintain any means of contacting the Enchanter's Guild back in Ankjur, do they?
Oh, I mean, we can. I don't know. You mean like postal service?
Well, preferably something a little bit faster.
Oh, I mean,
Preferably
we can. I'm sure every one of our faculty could, and many of our students, if they knew anyone there. But
there's
I mean, I don't know if
They-
we like maintain anything with them.
there's a specific mailman I need to get in touch with about a subscription package. Can I ask you if you could possibly facilitate that? Specifically, an
potentially?
Enchanter's Guild affiliated mailman.
I don't know
Wait.
anyone at the Enchanters Guild, unfortunately. So, I mean, well, theoretically possible, I might just end up talking to somebody, totally not who you wanted me to talk to.
What spell do you use for this exactly?
Sending is what I'm thinking.
Sending. Sending. I mean, I feel like I could probably find a way to get in touch with that mailman if you just tell him to run it up the chain or down the chain. In this case, stupid fucking mailman. Could you possibly? And I kind of turn to everybody and I kind of go, this is one of those stupid fucking conversations that has a lot of paperwork I still need to deal with, and I don't know if you guys want to go ahead and go check out the library. Maybe Professor Thornwood could help me send this goddamn message.
Well, Thornwood did just say that she has a class to teach, so I don't.
And I kind of just look at Thornwood and I kind of give her my best puppy dog eyes and I go, but look how interesting I am for experimental opportunities. And I kind of go, please.
She definitely kind of adopts this, like, oh, that is something to think about, like, but she has this pressing need to, like, go to her classroom and teach a
Oh my
class,
god,
and it's
fun.
like,
I will go find a different professor.
just
Thank you,
indecision. And she's like, oh, thank God. She's like, yeah, I mean, if you wanted to, you could find somebody who knows somebody in the Enchanters Guild and get your message across. It would be much more difficult for me. I don't know if you've realized, but I don't necessarily think of people the same way other people do. So
It's okay.
I might
also
actually
see,
reach out to another frog.
You know, I actually kind of like you on that front because I also see other people as nothing but living petri dishes for my experiments. You know, we get along on that front.
That's a little much. She just leaves it
I
at
kind
that.
of,
And starts.
I kind of just hop on her shoulder before I go, and I'm like, wait until you hear what I'm trying to do, what I want to do to cats once I have the ingredients, and I kind of whisper that, then I'll hop off. To the library, friends.
Okay. You leave her laboratory. There we go. This is a good spot to take a break, so we'll go ahead and do that.
That's great because my computer's at 15%. I just found out.
Woo! Awesome.
Oh no! Why did you not plug it in?
Yeah, I gotta go grab my charger.
Okay.
Perfect.
See you guys back in a little bit.
Okay.
Turn into a
Perfect.
dragon. That'd be dope.
Yeah.
I am here.
In that case, Hope has
Okay.
arrived.
I'm broken back man. I step onto the battlefield and then fall down in pain.
Jeez,
One second.
man.
What?
I have all the powers of Superman, except that anytime anyone attacks my back, I just crumple.
Okay. Okay, doke. All right. So, everybody back?
I'm back.
It's
I'm
lunch.
back.
Okay.
All right, I hit unpause on the controller.
So, you guys are looking for the library.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out if I can fly. Just kidding. We're trying
Right.
to figure out what dragons are.
And if she'll grow wings.
Because that'd be dope.
Yep.
That would be dope.
You guys think I could turn into a dragon?
You know,
What's a
I know
dragon's
that, like, in meta, I know that there's, like, a dragon's breath spell. There should also be, like, a dragon wing.
I do have dragon breath as a spell. Although I don't think you've seen me use it. I used it during the test, but your character has not seen me use that yet. But
Yeah, you weren't there for the test.
that. And I think at level 14, I get some wings or something. Something like that. Not
Oh,
that
hell
she
yeah.
knows that.
It's a ways away, but we'll get there.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
wait,
just gotta hope that we played a level, right?
oh, we're playing. Just kidding. Just kidding. Library.
Okay, so we are heading back to the not back to, but heading to the library, and Brixta, you have access to this library, and now that you're technically a student, you haven't started any classes yet, and the library here also has the library here also has some there is like public access to this library, kind of like a university library. You know, you can get entry. So as you navigate through the halls, following, I assume there are signs to where this library might be, or pointing you towards it. You see mural after mural and stained glass windows depicting various things from arcanic equations to nature scenes. So you go through the halls, and as the halls become more like study motifed, I guess you could say, like there's more like stuff about books and more imagery concerning books and spells and spellcraft. You find your way to this grand library, and there, sitting at the desk, is looks like he's in robes, young-ish. Let's say, I don't know. There's not too many options. Let's say a dwarf, and well, young for a dwarf. He's got kind of like a baby face, even with the beard. So kind of like think like 7 dwarves, kind of a thing. And he sees you all coming in. It's like, oh, hi. Usually people aren't here during this time. Let me know if I can be of any assistance whatsoever. Well, you know how libraries work. So, feel free. Yeah, enter. Look around.
You can just take books out publicly.
No, you can't leave with them, unless you're a student. And then you can't leave the Arcanum with them. But you can feel free to peruse what's on the shelves.
Perfect. Could you direct us toward the fairy tales?
Oh. Yeah, I mean, it's a small section. Here, let me show you. And he asks you to follow him. He jumps down from his chair. He's about the height of the desk. And you just like see his like kind of conical hat that kind of the tip kind of bends over, just kind of bobbing as you you follow him alongside this lengthy L-shaped desk or counter with various amounts of tomes that probably have to be sorted and put back on the shelves, you imagine. And he pops out the other end and is like, yeah, this way. And the area you enter into, there's just like this sea of tables. And there's like nobody here right now. So maybe that's part of the reason why you think he was surprised to see you, etc. But he walks you over, and you can just the further in you go, the bigger this place looks, and you just see just this array of books lined from like floor to ceiling, and the ceiling looks like it goes up like 3 stories, and it's massive. There's not a lot of light in here, but what light there is just these little floating motes of light, kind of like a dancing lights kind of a situation. And yeah, some of them trail after you so that you can at least see where you're going. And it's like, okay, yeah, follow me this way. It's a little bit of a walk. So he gets like moseying on, like, moving his arms. He seems like a personable guy. And it's like, so what are you here for? Like, I mean, fairy tales, that's not, usually what our students are looking for. So
While we're walking, I'm like, do you have anything in this language? And then hands him the monster's teachings.
He like takes it while he's like looking over his shoulder. He's like, oh, I don't recognize it, but the first librarian might. She's not here right now. But she like hands it back over to you, and I could do my best to see what we can find.
While we're here, sorry to give you a whole pile of things we're looking for. While we're here, I was so it's the fairy tales. It's the translation for Cat's book. We were also hoping to see if you've got any books on time magic as a hypothetical, and then the more organic side of transmutation magic is what I'm looking for, please.
Oh yeah, transmutation. Yeah, we can go there right after. Yeah, they're not really in the same spot. So I mean, if you wanted to go there now, I think I can send one of these lights.
Yeah, please.
Direction.
I'll kind of just.
He like takes out a wand and like starts like making gestures and doing something to it. It's like I think
All
that
right,
worked.
and I
And
kind
it
of
starts like going off in a direction. It's like, huh.
okay, perfect. I'll
I think
follow that
that's.
little guy along.
I hope it's gonna go the right way.
All right, thanks very much, mate. I kind of pat Aerith on the cheek, and I just go, remember, Aerith, always check your underpants for snakes when you're in the library. And I kind of hop along and go follow the light.
Okay.
Oh gosh, there's a frog in here. What's that? No.
It's okay.
Familiar.
It's okay. I'm licensed. I'm licensed.
Yeah. Awaken familiar.
Oh.
Fine. No. So the fairy
you-
tales.
Do you like happen to have like little frog-sized gloves?
Oh, for touching the books.
Mhm.
I'm sure we could create something like that. Yeah.
It's very
Too late,
irresponsible to
they're
bring a wet creature into a library, if I may say so. That's
I will touch the books for him. He's very
that's
curious
probably
about that.
best. As
I love
as
how I'm
the
already
familiar's
I'm already.
owner, that's probably best.
I love how I'm
Just
already
next
halfway
time
away.
be more considerate of libraries. He adopts like this really like he adopts this stern disposition, but like it's hard to take him seriously just as how kind of carefree he was earlier.
Mhm. Oh,
You're
yeah,
gonna
yes,
make
sir.
you-
Yes, sir. I will.
You're gonna
I will
make
be
me
more
better.
mindful in the future.
Thank you. Yes.
As for the fairy tales, we're doing just a little light research on. It's gonna sound silly, but dragons.
Oh,
We're just interested.
like, oh, man, I wish they were real because that would be super cool. Just to like see one. I've always wondered,
Yeah.
And like a lot of stories have like dragons and dwarves as like enemies, but man, like, what if?
Yeah. What if? That's kind of what we were trying to, noodle on.
Just to be clear, DM, I had put the hair chopstick back in and my
Okay.
disguise is back on.
Mm-hmm.
Just FYI.
And sorry, Cobb, what were you trying to say?
Sorry. I was just trying to say I'm obviously gonna hop off to the books, but I was trying to apologize to Caroline for the fact that she kind of took one for the team there.
All right.
Yeah, sorry, I genuinely wasn't expecting it to go that way, but I'm obviously kind of heading off and going to that other separate section.
No, it's okay. I'm gonna like before you do that though. I'm gonna be like, hey, can you like minor illusion some gloves on you before you touch anything?
I'm like, yeah, it's probably for the best. You don't sweat that much. I know the stereotype is that we're very wet creatures, but it's not like an all the time thing, But I kind of do a minor illusion of 2 gloves, just on my little hands.
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, just for his peace of mind, just.
Yeah, kind of.
Oh wow, they do
racist.
have little frog gloves. Okay.
Kind of.
As they're
kind
like
of,
moving away, as you guys are walking away, hopping.
For a society that doesn't keep slaves, this place is still pretty racist against frogs. I'm not gonna lie. Like, okay, so the elves are treated nicely over here, but what about frog kind? What
I
about
mean,
mighties?
even up in the like upper echelons, though, I was not treated nicely. I was not
Yeah,
a good enough elf.
Yeah, but let me ask you that: is that because you're a knife user, or is that because you're poor?
Probably because I was poor. I feel like there's probably some intersectionalities between all of these aspects.
Oh, good.
Oh god, she's talking about intersectionalities, and she didn't even get accepted into university. What a complete and total turn of the tables this is.
I am 210 years old, traditional education never worked well for me, so I just directed my own education, which means I've read a lot of books about a lot of different subjects.
Yeah, I know, but just stop talking like an 18-year-old college student, Iris. And I kind of just
Well,
cap her cheek and I go,
to be
it's okay.
fair,
They're not gonna.
she is
It's
sort
okay.
of like in that, mid-20s of her elf life. So
I kind of just cap her cheek and I go, don't worry, Iris. Sooner or later, we'll teach you how to fuck the poor. It's okay.
How to what?
How to fuck the poor.
I dedicated the majority of my life to not doing that.
I sense that maybe you and I are going to have an emotional conflict over our philosophies at some point or another, and I feel like it's gotten significantly closer ever since you just got shut out in the library on my behalf. There.
So sorry. I got an emergency text and I missed all of that. What
Yeah, sorry.
happened? I'm so sorry.
I assume the emergency text is not anything. Yeah, I assume it's okay.
They're okay. Yeah.
Okay. I was just saying.
Minor freak out on my best friend's part, but she's okay.
Okay. Cobb was just saying to you, I feel like you and I are going to have a dramatic showdown over our worldviews sooner rather than later.
Oh, likely. But I have a duty that I made a promise to help you, and so, I'm gonna help you because that's what I do.
I'm sorry, my dog
Oh,
is
God,
going
you-
crazy right now, so hopefully you don't hear her.
That's fine. And Cobb kind of just looks at you and goes, you poor naive knife, yes. And it was so foolish of you because you could have charged. You're not even charging me for this shit.
That's just not who I am. I will say that once you are helped, we are going to have words.
Do you reckon?
Fantasy.
Do you reckon?
Or
Do you
not
reckon
fantasy.
you reckon you'll be able to catch me, Aerith? Okay, but anyway, back to the forbidden sections of dirty knowledge.
Okay. So, yeah, your little mote of light doesn't go more than 20 feet away from you. So, as it leads you, hopefully to the right destination, you're walking for a bit, but the rest of you get to the fairy tales section sooner, and he's just like, yeah, and it's this shelf, I think. Well, I mean, I would assume, because like that's a good one. He starts like pointing them out. It's like that's a good one. For dragons, like dragon steals a princess, knight has to go rescue dragon, or not dragon, sorry, princess.
I mean, could go either way.
This one, there's like just like but like some kids find like some friendly dragons and they have weird adventures.
Did you just describe Dragon Tales to me?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The last one, it's a series. The last one was a little macabre. Like the dragons ate the kids. So it took a while to get there, but it's still a more realistic story, I guess. In the end, I suppose. And
God.
yeah, he just like goes on like explaining just a handful of other like fairy tale books about dragons. And so I mean, feel free to peruse. If you need any help, I'm gonna leave this here bell. He takes off one of the bells and sets it on a desk nearby, or a table nearby. I know you can't even see the front desk anymore, but I will hear this bell. So just ring it once, please. Just once is good. Yeah.
Do you get the people in here who are just like ding 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 ding?
Oddly enough, yeah. They don't see me immediately, and so they're just like, where is he? And I'm like, I get it, but
don't they know it's a library?
Right. Gosh, these guys. Wait, are you? You're not even there. You're off with Cobb, aren't you? Or no,
No,
no, no, no.
I'm
Yeah. Okay,
I'm in a fairy tale.
sorry. DM got confused. Okay. Yeah. So enjoy. I'm gonna go make sure that mode of light went where it was supposed to. It might not have. So.
Yeah.
And make sure
Okay.
that Frog keeps his gloves on. He says, kind of weirdly seriously, and starts moving off.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Oh yeah, no problem. He walks away. So you are free to pull things off the shelf, take a look at them, read them. Yeah. What are you guys specifically looking for?
I
Cat
think
just grabs a random book and starts just practicing his letters.
Okay.
Aw. That's a great activity for you. And is Brick still with me?
I assumed.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm with you.
So I kind of look at Brix and I'm like, divide and conquer? Like, should we just start going through?
Sure. Yeah, I'm gonna pull anything that says dragon in it off the shelf.
Yep.
Probably gold
I do the
dragon.
same.
I thought my scales, Kat said there were like different types of dragons. So
Ooh, that's smart.
scales are
Yeah.
gold. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll look for like gold dragon references.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and do like an investigation check for me.
Oh no. Oh, that's not bad. I got a 15.
Look at you.
I bumped my intelligence up, so I now have a +1 to it.
Nice.
Yay! You're no longer a brick.
Investigation.
Thank you.
Yay, you're no longer a apple.
No longer an
I
apple?
love not being a brick.
Oof, not great. 11.
Okay. All right. So, you're perusing the shelves. Brixton, you don't exactly have a frame of reference that you're looking.
Can I give myself guidance?
You can. Yeah. I will allow it.
Ooh, that's a 17 now. I don't know if that helps with the DC, but
Anything helps. So, so you guys sit down with your armful of books and start just kind of pouring through it. Brixley, like again, what I was saying was like you don't really have a frame of reference of what you're looking for. All of this is really new to you, but at the same time, you kind of know what it isn't. And so you're thumbing through things and being like, no, that's not it. And going through your books perhaps a lot quicker than Aerith is.
Yay,
Yeah.
you're not a banana anymore.
And while Aerith, you don't find anything that relates to a gold dragon. The most precious metal color of a dragon you find is references to Aventhal. Think Bahamut. And Aventhal is one of the prime deities in Lar, but and I mean, you saw his temple in the temple district, etc. He's got a very large following. But
he's the god of justice, is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's the god of order and justice. Like time and space is like he's the. If you probably would have heard these mythological origin stories, like the world was created out of Aventhal's desire to create order and Rakara's potential for chaos, and
Okay.
and so that's kind of how the other deities were spawned, and then they created. Brawn is attributed with creating mortal life, and so on and so forth. So
So Aerith probably during her like pilgrimage did like study at one of his temples at some point. So she's probably
Probably.
familiar with him
Yeah.
because that seems like it would have been
He would
something up
be
her
common
alley.
enough, and he's probably the most common dragon reference there is, aside from Vrakara, which is obviously she's locked up away in the Tower of Gath, and nobody wants to see her. So,
Is the Tower of Gath like a physical place, or is it like a mythological place?
it depends on who you ask, but it is a physical place. Like if you're
Okay.
in anywhere that has good maps and the center of relatively good learning, Tower of Gath is a physical place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. And
So
Bahamut was known to be a dragon, right?
characterized frequently as one. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Gold or
Platinum.
Platinum.
Mhm.
Better than all. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And then Vrakara is supposed to be this chromatic dragon, multi-headed, mother of chaos, etc. So, yeah, and so one of the things, like some of the perhaps the most interesting story is kind of it reads slightly poetically, kind of like definitely has like that moralistic tale kind of a vibe, kind of like a grim fairy tale vibe, and but it is about ultimately it's about Vakara, but she's not revealed as being the person or the villain or the witch of the tale until the end. But it's kind of more or less the beginning of Dragonborns, or like a daughter or son, well, a child. It doesn't, the gender doesn't actually matter, but a child was born to a couple and cursed by this witch, and grew up into this um, human lizard type person with dragon characteristics, and the witch is later to be found out Vakara, and there's kind of nothing to be done about it. But there was some kind of moral thing that happened between the parents, right? And you get different renditions of this tale. This is kind of like an anthology of well, I guess pseudo grim fairy tales, in a fantasy setting. And so Vakara seems to be, for whatever reason, the main villain in a lot of these. Maybe because she's typically thought of as the mother of chaos, and so like and many people know her name, so that's another thing. That she's one of the few demon lieutenants that were named, or people at least know her name. And going off on tangents here. So
You're good. I'm like taking notes as you're going.
So yeah, she is typically the villain. Some of them, the parents did something wrong, or the child disobeyed their parents and met Vakara and was, I guess, infected with her chaos, and that manifested in a dragon kind of quality. Or I imagine that there are like Zeus type stories about Avanthal too. So like, these demigod children that were graced with his dragon might. They Sorry, we just saw a little foot, and that reminded me what Grace was talking about earlier. at the beginning of the session. um, anyways,
so who's Aventhal again?
Bahamut, basically.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah. So I imagine that there are kind of like Zeus type stories about him too, since he's the prime deity in this pantheon, and like people that have basically had his demigod children, and they grew up with like dragon-like characteristics, or have inherited some of it. Yeah.
So, I mean, just based on what I know about Brixta, I think I would be more likely to think that she is like descended from Bahamut.
Possibly.
Because, I mean, she literally said, "Oh, justice is kind of my thing," and that is
Mhm.
also Bahamut's thing. Okay, so I'm gonna like, I guess, tell my findings to Brixta to be like, you might be like I don't know, one of your ancestors might have been a child of Bahamut or something. He wasn't the same colored dragon as what you've got going on, but the vibe checks out.
5. Is there a temple?
Of Bahamut? Yeah, oh, yes, absolutely.
I mean, maybe they would know.
Well, oh, my headphones are dying.
No.
Don't do that.
Maybe we could go to the temple. Maybe they'll got like a test or something. Tell me who my daddy is. Just kidding. No, but they can like tell us something.
Would you be comfortable with that? I asked because you've been a little what's a good word? Cautious of
Gun shy.
On the edge.
I mean, if they are, if they are a temple of dragons, then it is likely they're not going to try to kill me as a demon.
Did you think I was gonna try to kill you as a demon because I use divine magic?
Yes.
Oh, sweetheart, I'm so sorry.
I had to burn down a whole village. They tried to kill me as a demon a week ago.
Oh my god. Okay. Well, I don't think you meant to burn down a village, did you?
No, I was just trying to escape because they were trying to kill me because they kept screaming demon.
Yeah, that's not your fault.
That's what I was trying to say. Thank you.
Eric's heart is like breaking right now.
Yeah,
I'm so
you
sorry
start
about-
floating in the middle of the town square and like gaining scales on your face and showing off magic, and suddenly the priests are all like, "Kill her, she's a demon." You know how it is.
It's a I do know how it is. I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. I
Terrible.
promise I am not like them. I've dedicated my
There's
whole
like
life
a
to
few
being
people
like
call
them.
me a demon. Yeah, a few people called me that when I was traveling with Cobb.
Just because you're a giant cat person?
Mm-hmm. I didn't even know what it meant until Cobb explained it.
Gosh, I'm just collecting people that everybody else thinks are demons. I know you're not. I'm so sorry. Aerith is like tearing up a little bit. She just wants to give Ollie a hug.
But maybe this temple, they'll be different because if they worship dragons, then they won't think I'm a demon, and then they can confirm or deny whether I do have dragon ancestry. They'll probably be the most likely to know.
Makes sense to me.
We'd still have to be pretty careful because I think most people with like dragonborn whatever are usually considered like
Demons.
yeah, or Verkaras, So keep your hairpin in while we're there.
Noted.
We'll see if they pass the vibe check first, and then maybe we get a little more real with them.
Noted.
Yeah,
We'll add it to the list of things to do.
great.
But this seems more like a religious book instead of a fairy tale book. I wonder why it's in the fairy tale section.
Social commentary.
Well, oh, speaking of that, there's probably a religion section. We could probably find books on Bahamut.
Hmm. True that. You got the bell.
I do have the bell. I'm gonna ring it just once,
Okay.
And
and then I fold it away.
periodically too.
He's gonna-
I'm sorry.
I
As
pulled
they,
the bell away from Cat.
you pulled what away from Cat? The bell?
The bell, because I knew you would also want to ring it.
Yep.
Actually, you know what? Retcon all of that. I hand the bell to Cat to ring, and I tell him just do it once. No,
Yeah.
no, that's enough.
Uh, so, we'll go to Cobb here, and so you are taken to, kind of like a section of memoirs, like just of mages' journals, more or less. Like they're, you none of this, at least at first glance, looks like transmutation related.
I suppose I crack open a few books and see if I see anything that looks like it might be transmutation related or mutagenic or magic related.
No, you don't find anything.
Fuck.
Some of these
So-
look more full of themselves than others, and stuff like that. So it's not, you're thinking you're not in the right section.
do I see anybody nearby?
Soon enough, after you've been like kind of perusing around and trying to hold the books, as a frog, you do find somebody coming up to you, and it's the dwarf that sent you on your way, and he's just like, "Oh, there you are. Ah, man, yeah. Nobody really comes for the transmutation magic here, Messed up the section. Sorry, I thought it was this way. It is not here. Yeah. Follow me. Well, here, it's actually probably better if I carry you, because frogs.
Do you have some kind of racism issue, bro?
No, they're just like the book. I'm here to protect the books.
But not the frogs. Okay, I see. You know what? Green lives matter, bro. You don't see me looking you in the eyes and telling
Is that
you,
like
dwarf,
an
that I
orc
care more
thing?
about
Like,
I can see why they have you managing the library. What I'm gonna say on that front.
hey, I resemble that remark. Wait. No, wait. Hey.
Hmm.
Let's just go. And he starts walking off, whether or not you're coming with or not.
Yeah, so to give you more background on what I'm looking for, it's specifically organic to organic transmutation, possibly slightly the more mutagenic side of things.
Okay, sure. Yeah, well, he takes you to the transmutation section, and like the literature here is actually rather robust. Like there is a lot here, and all of it is very academic, uses a lot of jargon. But as you ask him for like mutagenic stuff, he's like, "Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to be back with that one. I don't. This isn't really my shtick. My So, I'll be right back." And he heads off.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah.
As he after he's left, I kind of just mumbled to myself, "Zahiro would be aghast at this fucking library." Mish, what I kind of do is I kind of go through these books and I kind of look for anything that's actually quite low level, mutagenic magic, because I want to see what their fundamentals are. You know, anything that's resembling a list of very common low level spells in that field.
Okay. Yeah. So, make an investigation check for me.
Give me 1 second. Oh, sorry, I just realized I closed D&D Beyond. Be right back. Second. Come on, you damn thing. Load. What did you say, investigation?
Yeah.
26. I'm a special boy. Mr. D, did you hear me?
Yeah. Sorry, I am just writing a couple things down.
Perfect.
Okay. So,
Back up.
as you peruse, you take note of several names, several book titles, but you're, with your froggy strength, are not able to remove the books from the shelves.
I'm actually just going to double check if I don't have a possible spell that can actually help me out with that. Holy shit, I do actually have the fucking mage hand cantrip. Holy shit, this entire time.
With your brain.
And
Okay.
it's stupid because I never build characters with mage hand. Perfect.
Perfect. So you start pulling books off the shelf. Some of them are more than 5 pounds, so you can't quite grab those.
Okay, so I'll
But yeah, sorry. You end up pulling off some books and starting to go through them, and so stuff that looks relatively close to what you're attempting to figure out. What is the goal here that you're looking for?
specifically, I'm just trying to get an idea of, specifically, I'm going to start with low level spells. You know, what exactly have they kind of got that they have got the spells that they use commonly? You know, what's the state of the fundamental parts of the field? You know, what kind of spells am I looking at?
Okay.
You know, obviously, I'm gonna hopefully at some point work my way up to the advanced stuff, but first I want to see what their fundamentals are like.
So that all seems to me a little bit more like just straight up transmutation studies. So, You can absolutely find those. Those are literally everywhere under one name or another, like Introduction to Transmutation, yeah, Transmutation for Dummies, stuff,
And
so on and so
into the
forth.
more organic based stuff. What am I seeing on that front?
If you're looking for like things about change and uh, uh you know, things related to your particular situation, let's see, you do find well, you find obviously something from by Sybil Thornwood. So you find one of her treaties on the mutability of self. You obviously it's in the library. You do find something called golden ratio and the mutable flesh. So it's taking things more in what is his name? Famous artist and inventor, Italian. Gosh,
Da Vinci?
Leonardo
Da
DiCaprio.
Vinci. There we go. Yeah, kind of like golden. Yeah, the golden ratios of like Da Vinci's era, and so it's taking a more mathematical approach to things.
Anything that's possibly moving a little bit more towards the medical, the more slightly more medical side of stuff.
You also find something called Chimera's Folly, a warning against excess, which you promptly push aside.
Chimera. I actually take a look at that one because I'm hoping maybe if I look at all the stuff it tells me not to do, it'll tell me how to do it.
Yeah, you find in this one like accounts of transmutation experiments gone wrong. Kind of like the development of a chimera, or, well, trying to develop a chimera and failing. And it just
Am
being.
I seeing instances of people stuck as neat forms, or am I seeing stuff like people developing super capsules in this particular book, or both?
More like the instability of whatever you're trying to do, and it just kind of catastrophically falling apart.
Okay, so the flesh really kind of falling.
Yeah, and this one is more about like lots of cautionary tales about mages kind of gone wrong, trying to. Wow, the initial word that came to mind was like portmanteau it together. This is not linguistics though. So trying to like combine, like put things together that shouldn't be put together.
Do I feel like this is one of those books where if I actually follow along with what they tell me not to do, I might actually be able to kind of develop something workable, even if it's only getting it to fail in the same way.
With enough study and experimentation, perhaps.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put that one aside, and I'm going to make a note of the title.
Let me be a little clearer. It's not giving you the exact steps of what happened. So there's a lot of guesswork involved in like how did they get from point A to point B.
Okay. So I'm gonna write that down because at this point it's still better than whatever I had 5 minutes ago. What else do I find?
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. What was the other thing that you were particularly looking for?
It was mostly just organic
Medicine.
medicine.
Yeah. Okay. So there you do find some stuff about like transmutation scholars attempting to find kind of like a panacea for like the things that ail the mortal condition. So in other words, like immortality and total well-being, and so on and so forth. And so a lot of this is some of this literature is very like medically minded. Like, all right, I don't know. That's how I've always pronounced it. And so a lot of this is medically minded in like, all right, cells die or start to deteriorate after a certain point in time, even for elves. And so age takes them, right? And
Right.
talking about panacea, yeah. And
I wrote the panacea too.
yeah, and so yeah, they're like, is there a way to just have like a fix-all curative? Like, can we get rid of the common colds, the viruses, the everything that could, any disease that could potentially kill you, or is there a way to protect against that or get rid of it, or stuff like that? So, I mean, I think that's more or less what you're thinking.
Yeah. So this is definitely on the right track. Are those the only two I see for now?
Oh, well, if you're looking in this direction, there's a book called Natural Alchemy and the Ever Living, The Boundless Forms, Transmutation and the Evolution of a Species.
Oh wow.
So like these are like very high, very theoretical things that haven't really been proven out. Like you could probably, even if you wanted to, you might even find a lot of ridicule for some of these books. But yeah.
Let me ask you this: if I take a look at these books and I kind of give them a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being a complete and total mastery of this field, 1 being someone who literally knows nothing about it, where do I fall now that I've kind of had an idea to take a look at some of these materials and see what kind of concepts these guys are working with? How do I compare?
Probably around a 2.
Okay. So still very, very, very new to the field, even though I've already been studying for a while.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, just as like a reflection of your level.
Yeah. Hmm. Do I see anything about possibly inducing small mutations?
Oh yeah,
Stuff like
100%. Yeah, you can find a lot of that because that's basically what transmutation is all about.
Yeah.
It's affecting the body or a particular part of the body in a certain way for a limited amount of time, but to complete a thing.
Yeah. Obviously, the goal on my side would be to eventually kind of induce more permanent changes. Along the lines of the spell Alter Self, what else am I seeing that's possibly similar to that?
I'm sorry. One more time with the question.
There's obviously the spell Alter Self, which is transmutation. Am I seeing anything similar to that? Anything, interesting? Any kind of spell similar that kind of function in a similar way?
Yeah, probably. So enlarge, reduce, breathe water, um, man, those are the things that are coming to mind, but there's probably plenty more.
Am I seeing any that's possibly not like standard issue D&D spells? Like I'm basically putting you on the spot and telling you to make up some new spells for me.
Oh, probably not. No.
No.
Now, if you wanted to like make a new spell and it not be like documented, then it's probably something that is a personal experiment of another mage, and yeah.
So not something that's so old that it's written down into a book that I have to like
Correct.
bully my way.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I could maybe, I feel like the Alter Self spell, they've got a thing there about shape-shifting claws as one of the options. Could I possibly try and take some notes down about bones and trying to work out the mechanism for growing claws from the hand? Because my thinking is, if I can get that down pat, maybe that might be a good starting point to kind of develop some other spells.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that seems perfectly fine to me. Yeah, if you're just trying to adjust a spell enough, like, there's some inherent danger in that, and you have to, really think it all out. But yeah, I think that is, refining a spell and creating something similar but not the same. Like, that's spellcraft. So yeah.
The only other two things I wanted to take a look at here is maybe I could convince Brixa, if I grab these books, maybe I could convince her to take them out, and then maybe she keeps them with her in the arcane and maybe pays somebody to transcribe them. So I have some copies. I'll probably cover her for that. But I want to take a look at dragons, and if there's anything here that mentions either dragons themselves or any kind of metric, maybe that a species could be dormant for a while, but one of its members could kind of show up after a couple of thousand years or something.
Nothing here. Nothing in these shelves here that you would find.
I was hoping I could find some fool talking about like theories about the anatomy of dragons, but nothing like that.
No.
All right. Well, I suppose I'm kind of just gonna grab these books and head back to the others. And kind of when I see Brix, they kind of say, "Yeah, sorry, I wasn't able to find anything else about dragons around here." I have to be honest. I was actually really thinking in transmutation that there might have been something about like extinct bloodlines, but yeah, maybe that was a long shot.
No, it's
That's okay. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, it's a lot more about like the perfection of the self kind of a thing. Like, or to make the self more durable, more resilient, more. And so
Yeah.
I
suppose what I was thinking is in terms of like specifically the medical aspects, I would have assumed that there's some fool somewhere would be like, hypothesizing about how dragons breathe fire or something like that. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, there is a spell called fire breathing, so magic can already do that.
Yeah. Fair point. Because I kind of, assuming I kind of get back to the others without any issues, I'm kind of like, yeah, sorry, Brickstar, I did look, but I'm not seeing anything that could make me think they have any anatomies of dragons lying around.
I forget, what did you ask the librarian for?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I asked him for mutagenic magic.
Uh-huh.
And then
wasn't he gonna go like check on something for you? I forget.
Oh shit, that's right. Sorry, he was gonna go check on something else. I don't know if he comes back or anything.
I forgot what he was trying to check on for you, but we can table that for another. I'll look back at the recording, I guess. Okay. But in any case, yeah, you can find your way back to the group. You more or less know where to go. Yeah. That's no big deal. Your bell about the same time, actually, like the dwarf comes back, um, and comes back to your table and says, "Yes, what can I do for you?" This is all. Sorry, all of you, Aerith, Brixta, probably arrives probably faster than Little Frogman, but um,
Well, I mean, my
So
first question is,
Yeah,
Mish
yeah,
can't remember what she
the
was
bell.
supposed to go fetch. Mish can't remember what you were supposed to go fetch. Do you remember what you were supposed to go fetch?
I just remembered what I was going to ask him about, which is the religion section.
Right.
I'd like to learn more about Avondale, if you have any
oh,
books on him.
yeah, I think we have a section on the divine, and like takes this wand and like does some little. Looks like he's just like scribbling in the air, um, and okay, and then he just like points to one of the moats, and um, it starts going off in another direction. Yeah. So I mean, if we follow this here moat, are we done with these books or?
For
Uh,
now, I think. Yes.
I was hoping if my scaly friend over there would possibly check these three out, possibly keep them in her dorm room, possibly.
He like looks across. The dwarf looks over you all and is like, "Is he's got shingles or something?" The wrapped up guy.
Yes, that would be the scaly
No.
friend. To hand the books over to.
No, not no.
No, I'm joking. He's just got a skin
Uh,
condition.
Well, shingles is a skin condition.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. I was
Uh,
thinking psoriasis, but yeah, shingles.
psoriasis is also a skin condition.
right. Yeah. Yeah. But anyways, he's just like, okay. Um, wash your hands, I guess. Uh, and then yeah, okay. Well, we can come back to this. I'm just gonna go show you where the section is, and you walk for a little bit, and like this library has like um hallways that branch off here and there sometimes, and you pass a few of these at the end of this big vast room, and kind of on the opposite corner you see more from the fairy tales. You see uh, a large religious section, and yeah. So if you, I mean, there's plenty on Aventhal. I feel. I haven't gone looking too much, but you could look at that, and he starts like bringing books off the the shelves, and is like, I guess that. What specifically are you looking for Aventhal? And like the books that he's
Oh,
brought down are like explanations of Aventhal through the years, so to speak, as many years as we've had with written history.
oh, yes, I've read most of these. I'm mostly looking for maybe stories of his children.
Oh, Aventhal has kids? Well, I mean, I guess if you talk about the other gods, um, well, okay. Feel free to peruse. I think we have all of them here, but yeah,
Fabulous, thank you.
okay,
I will peruse. Are they like tall? Is there a ladder?
yeah.
Yes,
There's most definitely a ladder.
I find a ladder.
Excuse me.
To find to peruse.
Okay. Yeah, but you have let's see. A lot of these are probably going to be more or less explanations of, the god or god's characteristics and like, their personalities, their followers. Um Definitely find some about like myths and stories about what the gods have done or purportedly done. Yeah, you can find a bunch of that here. So, if you're looking for, well, let's just go ahead and roll investigation because you're looking for like stories of
Oh.
demigod children.
Using my desktop for this. A little bit easier. I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna give myself guidance as well. I'm gonna roll that first. That is another 2.
Can I help her?
Ooh.
Sure.
So I can
One.
roll with advantage? Okay, so the first one was a
Mhm.
12, and that one is a 15.
15. Okay. Yeah. I would say some of the stuff that you get off the shelf is about like how I almost called him a different name. Avanthal and Vakara, they had their kids. And that's everyone from Braun to Istariel to Silveril and Gaz Abdur and Tyr and so many others. And how the children ended up having a war because Avanthal kind of went off somewhere. There was a lot of like Vakara pitting the kids against themselves and stuff like that, and so she's seen as very manipulative and chaotic and unstable. And then the children try to bring Avanthal back or something. There's a variety of tales about how this happened. Either like Vakara ended up betraying him and sealing him off somewhere, or putting him into a deep sleep, or something like that. And then the children have to, after bickering amongst themselves, come together and try to save their father, etc. But you only catch like a small snippet of one of these man, I want to call them storybooks, but they would view it as like religious doctrine or literature. And it says that Avanth just makes mention that Avanthal has appeared several times to mortals, and it's non-committal about whether or not children were conceived as a result. But it alludes to that still. Yeah.
So, and I'm assuming it's referencing like that he has like a dragon sort of. What am I trying to say? The textbooks make reference toward his draconian form, or like
Avanthal's
icon.
or
Is it? Okay, now I'm confused. Yeah, Avanthal. Okay.
Are you talking about the god or like the children?
The god.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
He is definitely characterized as a platinum dragon.
Are his like children within the pantheon also dragons, or are they like, did they take mortal forms?
No. None of them are dragons. One of them is kind of like this mountainous turtle kind of thing. Others are kind of more like embodiments of the world around you. But many of them do have more or less like a humanoid form as well, if otherworldly in some aspects.
Okay. But then his children, we don't know if they are draconic at all.
They are not characterized as anything draconic.
How does a platinum dragon get down and dirty without passing on draconic
God
DNA?
stuff, you know.
Yeah, God
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah.
How does that happen? Interesting.
I almost said God juju, but then I was like, nah, that sounds dirty.
I almost said God juice.
yeah.
So
Yeah. So I
Sorry
mean,
if I missed anything. Sad child over here.
oh, no, you're good. We're just explaining things that would probably be boring to Kat. But
Yeah, it's probably just paying attention to some books.
so,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, you get more or less an allusion to like demigods, but that's about it, and there's no like description of them.
We
There,
don't know
it
who they
is kind of in context. It is kind of spoken of as, potentially